Greetings, dear ones. I am Cryon of Magnetic Service. You know, some are asking a very good question. And they're saying, it feels like I am working on something that is so much bigger. I have things coming that are so much bigger, and yet my life seems small. What's going on? Why would I feel that way? Dear ones, I am here to tell you that this is absolutely normal, and it really proves the point of what I've said in the last few weeks in the channel. That this year, this 2026 year, has something happening within it that you should know about. What many of you are picking up as old souls is who you will become, or perhaps the potentials of who you will become. And once again, we say that you have to understand what that is in the field. The field is that which is the consciousness of almost everyone on the planet, and the thoughts that are appropriate, perhaps even inappropriate, but they're thoughts anyway, and they all go into the field. It's not good stuff, or it's not bad stuff. The field contains consciousness. Consciousness is energy, dear ones. Therefore, the field also is energy. Many experiments have been done regarding the field, and it's being studied even today as an energy. This consciousness that is in the field is something you feel for yourself, because the things in the field are not necessarily the future, but the planning that is happening now for the future. Now, in that, it feels like there's an element that's pushing you to do bigger things. And the reason it feels that way is because indeed you may very well have a push to do that. You may have an opportunity to do that, and it's coming. So you might say the opportunities are starting to shape up that you will then discover and work on that creates other things for you that are bigger than you have. Now let's talk also right now, let's just talk about so many things that I have told you, but now you start to see it really, truly in a better way. Why do you feel so small about yourself? Why indeed? You are an old soul on this planet, dear ones, truly. That old souldom, if you want to use that word, is something that all of you have, or you wouldn't be listening to this program. Now, certainly, there are layers of how long you've been here and what you've been through, but old souls are the ones to start listening to esoteric things, because they say, is there a greater truth? There are things that I should know. And part of those greater truths that you might be able to glean and know is that there are energies that will help you. And they're designed to help you on this planet. Esoteric, metaphysical, but they are energies. And in 2026, we have given you information that the intuition that you count on for so many things is going to increase. So as these intuitive things start to increase, you're going to then be aware of the things to come. Now again, it's not fortune telling, but it's there almost as the potentials of what you might do. Again, let me tell you why you feel so small. These have been years and years of beating up the old soul. That's the best way I can give you this information about energy. 23, 24, 25. These have not been necessarily good years. And what I mean by good years, they're not typical years. How many of you old souls have felt that it was difficult? Now, I've gone through this before, and I told you this in the first channeling of 26. But here we are again answering a specific question that you've asked. Why do I feel small? This energy has truly not let out the joy of life. It just hasn't. You need to hear this. You need to hear it often. of why you feel one way when something else is happening, because there's change happening. That's why. And the change happening is something that we all told you would happen. And it's just part of that which we told you is scheduled to happen. And it all is part of that. The snowball is rolling down the hill. That's in the field. Perhaps I should explain that yet again. But before I do, I want you to get clearly why you feel so small. This old energy of earth is truly old. It's your grandfather's energy. It's his grandfather's energy. It's energy that always has been here. It's the energy of consciousness. It's not a special energy of darkness. It's just consciousness. It's the way the world thinks. And that has been in the field. What the world feels about life in general, or the value of life in general, and how that has slowly matured and morphed into something else. But more than that, it's about that which humanity, I would say, deserves. Compassion. Does humanity in general deserve compassion? Has that been on the front burner of consciousness? And the answer is no. Where does money come into this? Is greed something that would change the landscape of the world? And the answer is, of course, it always has and it always will, except it's changing. It is really changing, dear ones, and that is the other thing that you're going to see. So if you feel small, you're like everyone else who feels small. This energy has not been something that is pushing you up to joy or to laughter. Truly. It's something instead that pushes you down into depression. Maybe some of you need to hear this. The ones who need to hear this are the ones who say, why can't I get ahead? Why are things always pushing back? This didn't happen before. I thought I had a good relationship with Spirit, but now I'm wondering about that. Now, if you are one of those, I would say the dark energy, the old energy, has really done its job. They want to pull you backwards into the old energy. They don't want you to look ahead. They don't want you to have any ideas that things are changing and light might come out, or that humanity might actually change itself with all that might be coming. They don't want that, because it truly interrupts that which is normal. And that normal is something that the old energy depends on for absolutely everything. Funding, control, everything. It's starting to change. What happens when a population suddenly awakens to a bigger truth and sees ugliness all around them? What happens? The answer is this, that they start to change it. It's not necessarily a revolution. They simply start to change it. Humanity that awakens to light starts to work with light. They start to gather other light workers around them, and that changes. That's what's happening this year and beyond this year, and we told you that. The field, that's really interesting. What is in the field? Well, we told you it's everyone's thoughts. It's all the things that are being worked on at the moment. And not everyone picks up everything. The way the field is designed is that old souls pick up what they need in the field. That's the way it's designed. What if I told you that in the field is your future potentials? That might even change your divine purpose. It might change everything. What if I told you in the field is a place where you feel more peaceful? Because it starts to readjust how you feel about yourself. What about in the field? There are ways for you to relax finally about the chaotic world around you and say, Wow. I feel so much better now about the love of God in me and spirit. It's almost like the sun has come out. I used that phrase earlier in other channels this year. Dear ones, we are looking at the manifestation of a brighter future that lays right now in the field, and that's what you feel. That's also the dichotomy of why you feel so small, and we just told you why. How can you feel both of those at the same time? Well, one is true and one is not, you might say. I'll give you a hint as to which one is not. That old energy is going to go away. It is slowly, very slowly, you're going to see what the snowball brings. The snowball is that, I would say, metaphor of things that are changing, that are in the field, that are being planned, that are here, that are going to change humanity for the better. It's the snowball that shows compassionate action in places you don't expect it. A new kind of business, a new kind of government. There are so many things that are going to be placed upon you in these new energies coming up that you did not expect. I want you to wait for them and see. You'll recognize them because they are filled with compassion. They're filled with a loving energy and caring. Filled with caring. What if suddenly you saw bills coming from Congress that were filled with caring? True caring. Would you go, whoa, something's up? Most of you would. Because that's not typical. It really is not. There'll be always somebody who objects. And what if you find one that is absolutely, really compassionate? That is the beginning, and then you will see what's up. The consciousness of the planet is what controls what you do. It controls what you do because the ones in charge eventually start to feel it. The ones in charge often are the young people of the last generation who are coming up and feeling this and starting to change. We've told you before, the old guard is leaving, and you will see this. It's not leaving perhaps for you fast enough, but when it does, you will see it replaced not by other old guard. You'll make sure that they are younger, more aware, a bit more compassionate, perhaps even indigos. This is what we've told you before. This is why you feel these things coming, dear ones. You're right. You are bigger than you think. Watch for it. I'm crying in love with you all. And so it is.